Recording, stand by. We are now just inside of 2 weeks away from Kentucky Derby number 136. And if the race were run right now, I think the three betting favorites for the Kentucky Derby would be Eskandrea, Looking at Lucky, and Sydney's Candy in that order. And we're going to show you why those horses right now are the cream of the crop at Derby time. We will start with Eskandrea in his most recent prep race, the Wood Memorial, on Saturday, April the 3rd at Aqueduct. As we pick up the action, that is Eskandrea 3 wide, moving toward the lead. The blue silks with the yellow sleeves, the baby blue silks of owner Ahmed Zayat, jockey Johnny Velasquez. Eskandrea has no problem cruising by the overmatched pace setters, Most Happy Fella on the rail, and Jackson Bend in between horses. Much has been made and will continue to be made of trainer Todd Pletcher's 0-for-24 record so far in the Kentucky Derby. He has never come to Louisville with a horse the likes of Eskandrea, who has it all. He has the pedigrees by Giants Causeway out of a Seattle Slew mare. He has the running style, the patience, the professionalism, and clearly he has the talent. An 8.5 length win in the Fountain of Youth, followed by this 9 3/4 length Tour de Force in the Wood Memorial. Eskandrea, clearly the horse to beat by any account in the Kentucky Derby. He also has the physical characteristics of a Kentucky Derby horse. Look at him. He's big and he's stout. The Pletcher barn says that he weighs probably a touch less than 1,300 pounds. So right now, all systems are pointing to Eskandrea as the betting favorite for the Derby. The only question he has to face now is what the quick pace will do to him. He should be further back than usual in the Kentucky Derby. How might he adjusts to that? Now, Looking at Lucky and Sydney's Candy ran the same afternoon, April the 3rd, in the Santa Anita Derby, where Looking at Lucky was the 4-5 favorite. Sydney's Candy at 7-2. As we pick up the action here, Looking at Lucky gets wiped out. He's down along the inside. Look at him have to check on the inside of Who's Up, ridden by Victor Espinosa. At that point, Looking at Lucky lost all chance, but to tell you the truth, he wasn't going to win anyway. That is Sydney's Candy on the front end, who was allowed to cruise through early fractions, and Sydney's Candy turned on the burners in the stretch to win this race by 4.5 lengths. Far outside, Setsuko rallies for second. Looking at Lucky down on the inside gets third. Sydney's Candy getting his third stakes win in a row, the San Vicente, then the San Felipe, then the Santa Anita Derby, all three in front-running fashion. The incident, the trouble there, caused some brief fisticuffs between Garrett Gomez, the jockey of Looking at Lucky, and Victor Espinosa, who was aboard the long shot Who's Up, that interfered with him and actually resulted in a suspension for Espinosa. Looking at Lucky did need to win that race. The question about Sydney's Candy is, again, sort of like Eskandrea, the Derby is going to be run in a different fashion than he is accustomed to. He's been on the front end, as I said, in his last 3 starts. What might happen if, in the fast-paced Kentucky Derby, Sydney's Candy finds himself, in 4th or 5th place early? That remains to be seen. Now, as we head in to Kentucky Derby week, the graded earnings situation looks like this. Once again, we have an overflow field, which has been the case in recent years. Because Looking at Lucky was the 2-year-old champion, well over $1 million in earnings. You see Sydney's Candy there is number 4 after his Santa Anita Derby win. Line of David won the Arkansas Derby at $600,000. Yet another speed horse to go along with Eskandrea as the co-5th-ranked horses in earnings. The rest of the way down the line, Icebox, the winner of the Florida Derby. Stately Victor won the Bluegrass. Endorsement won the Sunland Derby. Conveyance, the Southwest at Oaklawn Park. American Lion, the Illinois Derby at Hawthorne. The second 12 is where you're going to see where the cutoff comes into play there. When you get past American Lion, again, only the top 20 in graded stakes earnings can make it. And right now, that cutoff is at $250,000. Noble's Promise, though, is still somewhat questionable, as is the horse that's number 17 there, Interactive. So Jackson Bend, Back Talk, Akenog, Make Music For Me, all still have at least some chance to get in, although that is dwindling as we get closer to Kentucky Derby time. My Derby dozen, my top 12 ranked horses, is like this. Eskandrea, Looking at Lucky 1 and 2. I have gone to stretch runners for 3, 4, and 5. Dublin, I think, is going to get a pretty good trip. We'll have to see what his post position is, but Even though he is winless this year, he's been running well. Awesome Actor won the Gotham. I think he'll appreciate the Derby pace. Icebox came from way back in the Florida Derby. And the pace factor is why I have Sydney's Candy as low as number 6, lower than most people have him, even though he won the Santa Anita Derby so impressively. The rest of my 12, Todd Pletcher, is well represented, not just with Escondrea, but also on the list there with my 10, 11, and 12 horses, Rule, Super Saver, and Mission Impossible. Again, the Kentucky Derby, Saturday, May the 1st. Little less than 2 weeks out right now, and be sure to click regularly here on NTRA.com for all the latest updates.